Okay, it's time to unleash the fangirl. We talking about some anime up in this joint. And books, what all do you need? What is up, everybody? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? So, I honestly love anime a little more than books. Like, just a little smidge. Cause they're so over dramatic and they have so many bright colors. It's also just like a really expressive form of art. Like, I'm not an artist, but I do like to draw, but I just like appreciate how the lines move and like interconnect with each other and how you can see like the swish of hair. So it's honestly just fascinating for me to watch it. But all the great stories I've been exposed to, wow. Honestly, as an author too, or like a potential author, I get a lot of inspiration from it. So it makes me super happy. And so I've seen a ton of those videos like, if you like this book, you should read this book. And I'm like, well, we need an anime edition, don't we? There probably is an anime edition already out there, but we need my anime edition because I know what's best for you. I have here some books and some animes. Like, if you like this book, you should watch this anime. Or if you like this anime, you should read this book. So if you're an animator, a weeb, you just like anime, whatever the word is, but you're not into books, I'll introduce you to some, my friend. I know your taste. If you're a nerdy book lover and you're like, what is this colorful barrage of imagery known as anime? I will point the way for you, my friend. And if you're like me and you're the happy lover in between the two of them, I will introduce you to some better, newer animes and books. I have this whole list of animes I need to watch, and I honestly haven't seen a ton, but the ones I have watched have left an indelible mark on my soul. Okay, first up, if you loved the book Priory of the Orange Tree, which is heavily Asian inspired, dragons are everywhere, and there's like a ton of great world building, then you would love the anime Inuyasha. Inuyasha, I believe, takes place in feudal Japan, and that's why I've kind of, besides one other reason, this is why I kind of link these two together, because they're heavily Asian inspired influences. Priory of the Orange Tree is these like 4 different countries or kingdoms. Each are like suspicious of the other country. One country reveres dragons, the other country despises dragons, while another country like actively slays the dragons. And within each country, we're following the narration of one person. One girl is trying to become a kind of dragon rider of sorts. Another character is like this really bitter old man who I hate. Then we have another girl who's our main character, and she is the chambermaid to the big queen. Like the queen who is supposed to like fulfill a prophecy of just basically passing on her legacy to her daughter. They always give birth to daughters, and as long as their bloodline reigns, the evil one, I believe that's what it's called, just like the big mega dragon, will never come back and will never like attack their shores again. And if you know Inuyasha, there's also this like passed down legacy reincarnation vibe. Our main character, I will put her name right here because I'm remembering the person she was reincarnated from, Kikyo. Anyways, our girl, she lives in the modern Japan, but after falling to a well, she gets transported to feudal Japan where she meets the demon Inuyasha, frees him from his imprisonment, and they realize she is the reincarnation of his past lover. And you know, saucy sparks fly. There is also, and this is a spoiler, so I'm not going to mention what it is, but between these two, they have the exact same plot with a certain jewel. And you know where that jewel is? Yeah, both of them. It's in the same place. Both the anime and the story have a giant cast of characters, and I think you'll find someone you like in either one of them. And both of them have some like top class action scenes. The next offering I have for you is if you like the I Hunt Killers trilogy, you would love Code Geass. Both these stories both play with the element of a father-son bond that has gone terribly wrong. I Hunt Killers is about the son of an infamous serial killer named Billy Dent. Billy Dent finally got caught, and he is serving multiple life sentences in prison while his son Jasper is living his life on the outside, going to school. He has a girlfriend now, but he was trained from a young age to be the next Billy Dent. And so he knows it is wrong, but he's still struggling with all those thoughts just like beaten into him since childhood. Like he looks at his girlfriend, he's like, oh, I could kill you right now if I felt like it. And he's really just trying to calm it down so he can prove to the world he is not his father. And however, on the other side of the storytelling spectrum, we have the anime Code Geass, which is where the Empire of Britannia has taken over everything, especially Japan, poor Japan. Britannia has this High King, and this High King has like a ton of brothers and sisters. No, he has a ton of sons and daughters, and they're all generals in his world conquest, but he has this one son, Lelouch, who's like the rebel, and he kind of gets banished to the Japan place, where Lelouch, who is Britannian, he does bond with some Japanese friends of his. He loves them, he'd die for them, but he's also keeping secret that the big baddie that the Japanese hate is actually his dad. And so one day, Lelouch, he discovers this woman who's like being transferred from one prison to the next. He releases her, and she gives him the gift of Geass, which is the ability to control others just by making making contact with them. And so Lelouch, with this new ability, he decides to be, I think his name's Zero, the like vigilante figure Zero, so he can take down his father's regime. Both of these stories have like the we gotta take down dad theme, and I love it. And both of the characters are super smart. Next up, we have one of my favorite series and one of my favorite animes. This anime is actually tied in first place with another one that I'm going to talk about later on. But if you love the Hunger Games, you would love Assassination Classroom. I love Assassination Classroom to death. I watch Assassination Classroom like now when I'm doing finals because it gets me so excited to actually take tests. Anyways, you probably know what the Hunger Games is about. There was a great war. The capital, the big baddies, they won. So all the districts that put up a rebellion now every year have to offer a boy and girl tribute to fight it out in an arena where they have to kill each other until one is standing as a remembrance of all the lives you have lost for the capital. So we got a lot of fighting there, assassinations of a kind, weapons everywhere. And my favorite part of the Hunger Games was like watching them train, them being in the actual arena. And so Assassination Classroom, which involves a classroom teaching you about assassination, fits perfectly with it, but in a more funnier, lighthearted way, even though murder is the objective. Assassination Classroom, and I love telling people what this story is about because I have it like rehearsed in my mind and I love their expressions. So Assassination Classroom, one day the moon just explodes. It's gone. People are like, well, what happened to the moon? Then another day later, this slimy yellow octopus guy, he like shows himself to the government. He's like, hello friends, it was I who blew up the moon, and in 1 year I'm gonna blow up the entire earth the same way. And so of course the government is like, shoot him, and like boom, boom, boom. He's like, aha, I am invincible, kinda. However, here's your one silver lining. I want a teaching position as a teacher at this one high school in this one specific class. I will teach the students in that class to learn how to assassinate me. If they assassinate me, great job, you saved the world. But if they don't, we all go bloom. And so all these kids are dropped into this totally random situation where they have to kill this octopus thing. And along the way, they begin to love him because he's a good teacher too. He's teaching them how to kill him, but also teaching them life skills and just math. So if you're into all that fighting, you have some good options here. You can have a more dark fighting like Hunger Games, or you can have the funny fighting with Assassination Classroom. Watch Assassination Classroom. I love it. The octopus's backstory, I think I cried. And now we're going to get onto the topic of gods and goddesses. If you like the book, The 100,000 Kingdoms, then there is a little anime that you would love called Noragami, which I believe means the stray god. 100,000 Kingdoms takes place in this kingdom among 100,000, so forgive me if I don't remember its name. A girl named Yin, who is like a lesser duchess of one nation, is invited to the capital of all these 100,000 kingdoms, and it's revealed that she is like the emperor's granddaughter or something, and so she's being ripped away from her native home, and now she's being forced to stay in the capital. And you know, no one likes that, but she can't rebel because the emperor guy, he's in control of like all the gods. He has them like on a chain, on a collar, and he commands them. If she makes him mad, he'll command his gods to blow up her country. And so our girl Yin is just like trying to survive in this castle now with all these gods running loose, and she's also trying to solve some mysteries like, how am I this dude's granddaughter? What happened to my mother? And meanwhile, we have Noragami, which has that same principle of like gods are everywhere. Some are running supermarkets, some are bankers, and you can run into them at any second. And usually a lot of them are super chill and funny, not the type of I'll blow your face off god from 100,000 Kingdoms. But Noragami, I love Noragami. It's about this god named Yato. Yato doesn't have any worshippers. Like, no one knows he's a god that exists except one person. That one person is super important because if you're not remembered as a god, if everyone forgets you, you don't exist. So one day, Yato meets this girl and she's able to remember him. So he's like, oh my gosh, you remember me. And so he's like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And he's like really protective of her, and they're, oh my gosh, their romance, like, just kiss already. So a lot of it is just like chilling with Yato, learning his cool backstory, and how he was turned from a raging war god into this cute little cinnamon roll little cat. Like, love you. We get to meet a whole lot of gods. There's a lot of fight scenes. Yato is so silly, but when he's mad, he will rip out your appendix and feed it down your slimy throat. This is the one anime where like I have to read the manga because the anime has not caught up with the manga yet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I missing out on? So if you want some darker, delightful dealings with gods, you know where to go. And this next entry is going to be like the intermission of this video, because if you just like reading in general, then you need to watch my favorite anime, Bungo Stray Dogs. Bungo Stray Dogs is this anime world where you got normal people, but then you have people with superpowered abilities. These people with superpowered abilities are named after modern day authors. Like we have Mark Twain, Lovecraft, a lot of Japanese authors like Danzai or Octogawa. I love Octogawa because of this anime. And these superpowered people have superpowers that are explicitly tied to the books their author counterparts have written. Like one character who is like basically Johnny Appleseed, he can like grow plants out of the ground and stuff like that. Octogawa has Roshogun. Is that how you say it? I can only say it if I say it in a really angry voice like he does. Roshogun! I love that boy. He can make like his coat do like little shadow things and it's like, oh, super sharp. Anyways, if you just want to see like some of your favorite classical authors be transformed into superpowered teenagers, you need to watch this. I have 2 more things left, and I think if you loved Leigh Bardugo's Six of Crows, you need to watch Haiku. It doesn't seem like they have much in common at first, but let me get into it. Six of Crows is about this magical heist. We have 6 colorful characters, and we are given one job, and we gotta break into a prison to do it. Steal some stuff, you know, bang some heads together. And Haiku is about a bunch of misfits coming together to make the best volleyball team at Karasuno High School, which used to have a great reputation, but now it's in the trash. Totally similar, right? Crime and volleyball. But no, the thing these 2 have in common is that they have amazing characters. I love every single person except like 2 people in Six of Crows. And I love every single person except like 2 people in Haiku. I think these 2 are just like great examples of how to introduce and build up character relationships, because instead of like, you got 6 people in Six of Crows, instead of like introducing them all together as an already established group, you bring them in one at a time so we can like really get to know them. And the same thing is shown in Haiku. We get to meet the volleyball players one at a time instead of in a giant group. So I think for authors, seeing how that's played out is really important. Also, you will love all these characters except like 2. And lastly, for your viewing or reading pleasure today, I have, if you love the sci-fi series Red Rising, you would love Hunter x Hunter. Red Rising is about this really, what's it called, hierarchical? No, that's bad. Okay, basically society is built on levels. The best level is the golds. Those are the people who are the best at everything. At the very bottom you have the reds, who are basically slaves. Hierarchical? Hierarchy. I don't know. Anyways, the reds have been sent to colonize Mars. I think it's Mars. They're there to drill into the earth and get it ready to be terraformed into like a beautiful budding metropolis for the golds and all the other members of society to come in later. Our main guy Darrow is like proud he's a red, that he's like in this really dangerous territory doing something for the betterment of humanity. However, he realizes after an awful accident that it's all been a lie. And in order to topple this golden government, he has to masquerade himself as a gold, which is like this intense training regiment that I loved reading about. So he can enter their like grand competition to see who deserves to be a gold, who's gonna die, and who's gonna like ascend through the ranks. Where they're basically Hunger Games style, trapped in an arena together, and we're gonna throw in some capture the flag here. Whoever gets all the standards for all these kingdoms that these golden children are running, that's when the game is over. It could last years. So it's interesting watching Darrow go from this, hopeful boy into this man who's commanding like a bunch of marauders, basically. Like, it was gruesome, and I loved it. Speaking of gruesome, have you guys watched Hunter x Hunter? Hunter x Hunter is about this world where hunters exist. Hunters are people that, they're your assassins, they're your treasure hunters. It's a very broad definition. But to become a hunter, you have to go to the hunter's exam. So our main characters, Killua and Go, they go to the hunter exam. So for like the first 2 episodes, I was like, oh, this is boring. It's so kiddish. Like, I still don't like Go as a character. However, episode 3 and beyond, there's blood everywhere and I love it. Those hunter exams were intense, and that whole Karapika arc, I loved it. So basically what I'm saying here is, if you guys like a bunch of dudes just like kicking each other's teeth out, Red Rising and Hunter x Hunter. Mwah! So I've paired these books and animes off together because I think they complement each other super well. And I hope you guys tell me in the comments below what's another good combination you guys have. And if you've seen all these animes or read these books, do you agree with me, or do you think my opinion is rubbish? But you know it's not rubbish. Bungo Stray Dogs. Assassination Classroom. My anime taste Dispute with me as you want about my book taste, but I am an anime expert for like the 15 anime I've seen. Thank you guys for watching so much, and I hope you enjoy what I have bestowed upon you. I need to go finish my second rewatching of Haiku. Oh, I love those boys.